Hey, what's going on everybody? Eldrick here, and welcome to another video today. Um, what we're going to be taking a look at today is not what you're seeing in front of you just yet, but one thing, if anybody knows what these are right here, without me turning and showing you what the front of that is, let me know and you will get a heart by your comment if you're right. It shouldn't be that hard. But anyway, so what we're going to get into today is what is inside this box right here. This is me going back into some memories right here. So I guess let's start out with we'll start out with this. It's a Super Nintendo Game Genie. I picked it up at a fairly cheap price way back in the day. You know, that's how you can use some cheat codes and stuff. This here, I don't know if this came with the PlayStation or if I got it with like a game or something. But it's just a neat little book that has some game, like early type of games being advertised in it. There was Armored Core back there. That was a fun game. Yeah. Remake coming up, everybody, for that big boy right there. I don't normally pre-order games unless it's something along the lines of From Software type of games. Just because I always have a feeling that they will deliver and I will enjoy. So I don't really mind jumping the gun and basically pulling the trigger on a pre-order for them. But Final Fantasy VII Remake is one of those games that I'm going to give it a go, and we'll see how the first, part of the saga plays out. This came out of, I think Star Fox 64's game pack or something. It's just an old thing to sign up for Nintendo Power back when that was still around. Just some consumer information books. Here's a little pamphlet with the controls that came out with Mario Kart 64 that I still have. I didn't really even put any use to this back in the day, but we still got it. Here's the instruction book for Mario 64. Still in pretty good shape. Didn't really look at these too much other than, bathroom reading material. And I remember taking these out of the box and looking at them a lot of times when not even playing the game. It was just some pastime to take, spend my time with. Here's Mario Kart 64's manual. There's my favorite character right there, Wario. Which when we get around to the Game Boy games of mine, Wario makes a special appearance in that. We have NBA Hang Time. I was a big fan of NBA Jam and Arch Rivals back on the Nintendo. I always enjoyed playing as Mohawk in Arch Rivals. He was always fun. We got Star Fox 64's controller manual. Here is one of my favorite games for the Nintendo, and that's Clash at Demon Head, and here's the manual I had for it. Whenever we get to that particular game, we're going to have a little bit of a story and discussion on that, but we're just going to try to make it through this box here, and I'll revisit some special stories for games later on. N64 Rumble Pack instruction book. Oh, here was a piece of paper I kept for PSM magazine back when it was around. I really enjoyed that magazine. Um, I don't think I actually ever had a mail subscription for that, but I would always get it at the store whenever the new month rolled around. Here's just some, pre-played game like boxes that, you know, used to pick up some of these games from back in the day. Alright, let's start out with this big fella right here. We got Street Fighter 2. This one was one of the first games I got on my Super Nintendo other than Super Mario World. I think this was the second game that I'd ever gotten. And I remember playing the heck out of this with my sister. And I came down and got really, really, really sick. And this game here, while I was out, trying to get better from the flu and all kinds of craziness I had going on at the time, that game saved my sanity right there. Let's see. Oh, Mortal Kombat. That's another awesome game. I played this mainly on Super Nintendo, but I also rented it and played it on the Sega Genesis. I always, put the blood code in on the Sega, but I preferred the Super Nintendo gameplay and graphics a lot more than I did the Segas. Even though I thought Sega's had the better fatalities and stuff in it, which was pretty cool. Earthworm Jim, the first one. I enjoyed the heck out of this game. When you first started up in the world New Junk City, that was really fun, and you had to, spank the cow either with your whip or shoot the cow and launch the cow, and that cow I think winds up making an appearance throughout the game, especially at one very pretty comical part at the very end. It's all great and fun and games, and it's just one of those games. It's challenging, but it also has a lot of comedic and comedic value to it, and just a worm inside of a super like spacesuit that has a damn gun is just fucking pretty damn funny in itself. And then one of the villains in it is named Psycro. Okay, what we got here? Oh, Primal Rage. This game here, I played it back when we had a arcade machine of it at one of our local stores around here. I played it as, let's see, what was her name? I either played as Chaos or Blizzard, and for the very first time, and I died to Sauron, I think the yellow T-Rex, and when I went to go back and play it one day, the store got rid of the machine just out of the blue, and there were times like on Friday nights when you would basically have to wait to play that game. It was that they had that machine, and they had Darkstalkers, which unfortunately with Darkstalkers I only got to play it like twice, and I played as the wolf guy, Talbot, John Talbot, or whatever his name was in that game, and Lord Raptor, who's like a zombie. Then he plays like a guitar, like I think it was like he used a chainsaw for a leg or something. But yeah, that was my experience with Primal Rage, and I remember picking this up when one day and it was at a Toys R Us. It was just like it had just been released, and I think it was like $60 or $70 when I picked it up, and I played it and played it and played it, and was trying to do all the fancy, special kills that you could do in that game with the dinosaurs, and eat all the humans, and it was just crazy fun. This was my favorite Mortal Kombat right here, other than the first one, and that's Mortal Kombat 2. Um, my favorite character in this is Baraka. Um, I used to be pretty decent as Baraka, playing against people and playing against the computer and stuff, because that's pretty much what I wasted my time doing. And I actually got that game there for Christmas one year, and my life was about lost to it after it came out. And the board that had the trees that would moan and move their mouth and stuff was always a fun little stage, and it was just awkward, the very first time I remember experiencing that. And the other levels where they had the whatever the poison pool was. I can't remember the name of it, but it was a cool stage. And I think they brought the pit back in that one too, didn't they? Like they did in the first one. Mortal Kombat 3, we had that. Not my favorite. Again, I played it a lot. I didn't really like the running in that game, where you had to hold the left or the right button, L buttons on the top down to run, I think, and I don't know, it was just different. And then you had all the different fatalities, and it was not my favorite. I'll just leave it at that. Super Metroid. I got this at Toys R Us one day, and it was actually on sale. This is my original copy here. I got it for like 19 bucks, and that was brand new at the time. And this is one of those games. My cousin actually had it, and that's how I experienced the game. And quick little story about Super Metroid here is I got so lost in it, and I did not know where to go, especially in the underwater world, wherever that area was, and you had to find the little hidden drop down point to continue on. It took me forever, way back when, to find my way through that and find that. We have The Adventures of Dr. Franken. This is one of those games I didn't like. The movement and whatnot in this, I thought, sucks. He runs too dang fast, and it's so hard to control, I thought. So I only played it maybe 3 times, and I finally gave up in it in the past. And it was one of those games I got from Funko Land, way back in the day when they was still around. Here's my copy of Mike Tyson's Punch-Out. I also believe I have the version that was released after Mike Tyson's Punch-Out that was just called Punch-Out. And it had Mr. Dream or whoever they replaced the character as of Mike Tyson. This here, it was a Super Nintendo cleaning kit. Apparently you would put this thing in your Super Nintendo, and it apparently was supposed to have cleaned your inside of your system. We got Earthworm Jim 2. This is one of those games that was one of the final games that I wound up getting on the Super Nintendo system back in the day. And wound up beating it. The food level was kind of crazy. But all in all, I enjoyed the first one a lot more than I did the second one. And then we have Super Off-Road. It's just a racing game where you can power up your vehicles and stuff. And pretty fun game. It was one of those games that my sister and I would goof around with from time to time. And I always thought it was fun in this game, turning your truck around and buying so many nitros before the race, and then just nitroing into other trucks and causing them to lose and come into last place and stuff. That was always fun. And this last little thing we got is a little kitten bookmark for whatever reason. But that's all the video that I've got for today, and the games that I'm going to show. As always, please be safe, keep gaming, and I'll see you guys next time. Take care, and bye-bye.